Hi, my name is Cooper Dietzler, and my presentation is over a key historical point in Japan. One of the largest historical events was when Japan opened up trade to the rest of the world. Before this, they only had a few trade charters with the Dutch and China formed in 1633, but repelled any other trade. To start, we need to look at the ruling power at the time, the Tokugawa Shogunate. The shogunate was a form of hereditary military dictatorship where the shogun, a powerful military general, would in theory answer to the emperor, but in reality rule Japan due to their military presence. The last of Japan's shogunates was the Tokugawa Shogunate, which took power in 1603. They focused on a strict rule. To help maintain political stability and repel foreign ideas, they froze the ability to move in the social hierarchy, banned any form of Christianity, and forbade Japanese citizens from traveling abroad. After seeing the ever-increasing colonial expansion from Europe and around the world, and especially in Asia, the Tokugawa shogunate adopted a policy of national seclusion in 1633, repelling all trade with most of the world. The national economy grew rapidly from the late 17th century into the early 18th century. With the development of large urban centers like Edo, later known as Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto, the production of silk and cotton fabrics, paper and porcelain, and brewing of sake flourished. Merchants and tradesmen prospered from this. However, the daimyo and samurai did not. Their income was based on a fixed stipend tied to agricultural production. In 1853, a Commodore named Matthew Perry from the U.S. Navy sailed to Japan as part of a mission to make an agreement providing protection of shipwrecked Americans and to open ports for supplies and refueling. Leaving shortly after proposing this, the U.S. returned in the spring of 1854 to receive Japan's answer. They agreed, although unhappily, and signed the Treaty of Kanagawa in 1854. This agreement included all of the things the U.S. asked for. While it did not include trade, Japan added a most favored nation clause, where all future concessions granted to other countries would be granted to the U.S. as well. This basically opened up the door for trade in the future. Finally, in 1858, the Treaty of Amenity and Commerce was signed between Japan and the U.S. Japan was reluctant to sign it, but after seeing the British forcing open the ports of China during the ongoing Second Opium War, the Japanese signed it as to not have the same outcome. This treaty led to an exchange of diplomats, opening of many ports, and allowing for trade at will, among other things. In the following few months, other countries signed treaties to establish trade. This included the Dutch, Russia, Great Britain, and France. This did not fare well for Japan, as the influx of foreign currency and uncontrolled trade brought economic stability. Some prospered, but many declared bankruptcy. This led to the samurai demanding a change in leadership, and the power and influence of the Tokugawa shogunate declined. After failing to handle the demand and effects for trade, the shogunate was overthrown by supporters of the emperor in 1868, ending what would become the last shogunate. Following this, the emperor regained full power and control, thus became the Meiji Restoration. This led Japan into a new era, focused on modernization. In 1889, the Meiji Constitution was signed, influenced by British, French, Prussian, US, and Belgian systems. This created a new form of government based on a bicameral parliamentary system called the Diet, helping lead Japan into the modernizing world. So what? Why is this historical moment important? Japan choosing to open trade with the rest of the world, specifically the West, moved Japan from a traditional, secluded nation into a modernized country. As James McCormick states underneath the section in Japan, the Constitution was designed not just to lay down the rules on the distribution of power, but to convince Western countries that Japan should be taken seriously and treated equally, and to promote social discipline and national unity so that Japan could deal with the economic and security challenges posed by opening to the West. The formation of the Diet and Japan's bicameral legislature is still apparent today, although has changed from the one grade in 1889 slightly. Today, Japan is a major exporter of electronics and cars, and in 2010 made up 8.7% of the global economy. This event, the opening of their ports to trade, helped lead Japan into what it is today.